So let us start with the definition of yoga. So what is yoga? The word yoga has come from the word use, which means to join. But what does yoga really join? It is, in a way, it integrates the mind, body, consciousness and soul. Now let us see with an example how does it join and what's not joining. See, we are in the class, in the yoga class, say CBCS yoga class, and we are attending the class, but somehow my mind is not there, my body is there, of course. So then the body and mind do not come together, there is a mismatch. Again, let us understand how the consciousness sometimes is not there. Say with the mind and body I am there, I have joined CVCS yoga, but now I want to do some other subject. So my mind and body is there, but my consciousness is not there. So this is what the yoga integrates, that it brings mindfulness, it brings attentions, it brings awareness into whatever we do. We are doing the asanas, but as we move our hands and legs in every asana, we also integrate with the breath. So that is, in a way, an integration of mind, body, consciousness. Again, it joins the individual consciousness to cosmic consciousness. That is another important. It doesn't join the individual to himself. It also joins the individual consciousness to cosmic consciousness. It's an awareness that we are one with the cosmos. We are just not like these individuals. Like the waves are distinct from the seas, the sun rays from not distinct from the seas, the sun rays from the sun. So we are not different from divinity. We are not different from universal consciousness. So that is what at the higher level yoga joins, that is the individual consciousness to cosmic consciousness, that is the awareness of our own reality. Okay. As V.K. Iyengar once says, yoga is a journey from the self to the self. Okay. Now we'll see this example with an Upanishad. In the Upanishad there is an example of Ghatakas and Patakas. Okay. The Upanishad says when there is air inside the empty pot, but when it's broken, the air in the pot mixes with the universal air, the atmosphere outside. Similarly, we may seem to be an individual with ego, with mind, with heart, but when we also, like the pot, break, then our consciousness also melts into the atmospheric or in the universal consciousness. Our breath gets one with the atmosphere, like the ghata. So we have to realize that we are not simply individual consciousness, we are linked to cosmic consciousness. It's simply like the fan, the light, they may look different electrical equipment, the laptop, everything looks different, but one thing that is common in them is electricity. As Bhagavan Satya Sai Baba puts it, gold is jewels may be many, gold is one, cows are many, milk is one. So that's how. Now we'll go to the second slide. Maharishi Patanjali says, before defining yoga, he says Atha Yoga Anusasanam. Yoga is a discipline. Okay, we cannot achieve anything, but Maharishi Patanjali doesn't say what comes into this broad perspective of Anusasanam. Everything comes in this Anusasanam. Then he says Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is that which removes the vrittis of the mind, which removes the fluctuations of the mind. Okay. So there are so many thought processes that goes in our mind, but when we do this Namaskar Mudra, we meditate, we bring our chitta inside, we bring our mind inside, and then suddenly there is a silence, we withdraw it from the outside world. Okay, we concentrate on ourselves, we reflect, and gradually the mind, we can see, is not distinct from the soul. The mind has come to existence through its linkage with the outside world. Actually, it does not have an existence, but it's totally linked to our inside, like the sun and the moon. The moon reflects the sunlight, but it doesn't have a light of its own. So, in that way, mind also doesn't have a light of its own. So that he says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga removes the fluctuations of the mind. So this is the definition of as per Maharshi Patanjali, that is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Now Maharshi Patanjali says, and the Bhagavad Gita says, Yoga kuru karmani sangam tekta dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Means yoga kuru karmani. Yoga is about performance of one's duty. Sangam tekta dhananjaya. We have to leave the attachment. We have to leave the siddha siddhyo. Whether we will succeed or will fail, we just have to do our duty. Samabhutva, we have to become we have to be established in equanimity, whether it's success, whether it's failure, whether it's good or bad, whether it is happiness or sadness. At times we have to strike a balance between. We cannot get too much happy when we are and good things come to us. When opposite situations comes, we cannot be too depressed also. That is samatvam yoga uchyate. This is the definition as per Bhagavad Gita, that it clearly says samatvam yoga uchyate. Then Lord Krishna says, therefore Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me. Dedicate all your actions to me. Whatever you do in the whole day, just dedicate to Lord Krishna. That mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Okay? And this is from Aurobindo. The first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught, because we are awareness of ourselves, we are knowledge of ourselves, we are that's why Sri Aurobindo says that we are already knowledge. We are, the soul already has the knowledge. It is Jnani. It is Anandamaya. It is universal. So the first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught. The practice of yoga brings us face to face with the extraordinary complexity of our own being. In other subjects we learn something different, but in yoga we learn the complexity of our own being, our own mind, our brain, intelligence, soul, so our own body. That's what's the difference between yoga and other practices. The way, again, Sri Aurobindo says, the yoga we practice is not for ourselves alone, but for the divine. Its aim is to work out the will of the divine in the world, to effect a spiritual transformation, and to bring down a divine nature and a divine life into the mental, vital and physical nature and life of humanity. Its object is not personal mukti, although mukti is a necessary condition of the yoga, but the liberation and transformation of the human being. The main aim of yoga is the liberation and transformation of human being. It is not personal ananda, but the bringing down of the divine ananda, Christ kingdom of heaven, our Satyuga upon the earth. These are very inspiring. Turn your eyes more to the coming light and less to any immediate darkness. Faith, cheerfulness, confidence in the ultimate victory are the things that help. They make the progress easier and swifter. True knowledge is not attained by thinking. It is what you are. It is what you become. Sri Aurobindo. Yoga is a generic name for any discipline by which one attempts to pass out of the limit of one's ordinary mental consciousness into greater spiritual consciousness. We are not this body. We are Shiva ourselves. Okay? Yoga is a generic name for any discipline by which one attempts to pass out of the limit of one's ordinary mental consciousness. We are simply not this being. We are not simply ordinary. We are a great spiritual consciousness. Now, BK's Iyengar tells yoga, an ancient but perfect science, deals with the evolution of humanity. This evolution includes all aspects of one's being, from bodily health to self-realization. Yoga means union, the union of body with consciousness, and consciousness with the soul. Yoga activates the ways of it first unites the body with consciousness, and then consciousness with the soul. Yoga cultivates the ways of maintaining balanced attitude in day-to-day life and endeavors skills in the performance of one's actions. Yoga means the union, the body with consciousness and consciousness with the soul. Again, BK's Iyengar. The body is the vehicle, consciousness the driver. Yoga is the path, and the chakras are the map. So these are very inspiring quotes. Again, I think this is all religion of just a minute. All religion is a flower of which yoga is the root. All philosophy, poetry, and the works of genius use it consciously or unconsciously as an instrument. All religion is a flower of which yoga is the root. All philosophy, poetry, and the works of genius use it consciously or unconsciously. All philosophies and poetry and the work of it use it consciously or unconsciously as an instrument. All religion is a flower of which yoga is the root. Root is the yoga. Okay. Now let us see what Swami Vivekananda has to say. He is the ever active providence. All power is his and within his command. Through his command the winds blow, the sun shines, the earth lives, and the death stalks upon the earth. He is the all in all, he is all and in all. We can only worship him, give up all fruits of work, do good for its own sake. Then alone will come perfect non-attachment. The bonds of the heart will thus break, and we shall reap perfect freedom. This freedom is indeed the goal of Karma Yoga. We'll learn later what Karma Yoga is. Now Swami Vivekananda again says, never say no, never say I cannot, for you are infinite. What a beautiful thing. You are infinite. You are not limited. All the power is within you. You can do anything. Very inspiring words from Swami Vivekananda. Again, do not lower your goals to the level of your abilities. Instead, raise your abilities to the height of your goals. Okay. Another inspiring quote. So yoga has that if education is identical with information, the libraries are the greatest sages. Information and wisdom are different. Otherwise, Google could be the greatest library or greatest sage or greatest sages in the world, and encyclopedia are the rishis. No, it doesn't happen like that. Otherwise, nobody would have worshipped Swami Vivekananda. Nobody would have talked about him. It's the inner self, it's the inner wisdom that brings out the wisdom within us. Again, Swami Vivekananda beautiful says, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. No negative, all positive affirmation. I am God is everything. I am God is. Everything is in me. I will manifest health, purity, knowledge, whatever I want. This is the inspiration you got to give yourself every day. I will manifest health, purity, knowledge, whatever I want. Thank you so much. And I think that's what we come to the end of our streaming. So thank you so much. I hope you got an inkling of what yoga is, what definition about different things from it. And now I hope you can have some idea, brief idea. Thank you so much.